Religion is the opposite of what most religious people think it is.
The ideas and arguments put forth in this video are so sloppy and problematic, it's going to be difficult to fit a full critique into 3 minutes. Abraham begins by suggesting that religion is viewed as a search for spiritual truth. He then asks why are there so many religions, and suggests that they should be progressing towards more similar beliefs over time. He then says that's how it is with science, and he cites the idea of multiple discoverability, which is the idea that multiple scientific discoveries can be found by several independent scientists which come to the same conclusion. He then asks why don't we see this with religion, since they are all reaching for a truth about the spiritual world. He then suggests that religions are just people trying to run away and escape a hard truth, which is why we see such a variety of beliefs. Now, this explanation is asserted, and at its core, it's assuming that all religions are false and is simply psychoanalyzing religious people without any evidence for why we should think this psychoanalysis is true. I can just as easily reverse this and psychoanalyze him in the same way. I can say that the reason so many people reject the idea of God in Christianity is because they don't like the idea that they have a moral authority to answer to. They have some deep hurt that they're running from. We see divergence because they are running from the truth of Christianity, and when people run from something, they can go in different directions and still accomplish their goal. This psychoanalysis I just gave is no different than what Abraham does, so let's just cut this crap out. The arguer assumes that multiple discoverability is something that we should expect, but it isn't clear to me why we should think that is the case for the spiritual world. The video also assumes that there is not multiple discoverability for spiritual truths, which I also don't see as obvious. I think that's probably false. There are people like me who see the evidence of Christianity and the historical data and come to faith in Christ. There are separate people who witness a miracle by a missionary and come to faith in Christ. And there are people who have religious encounters with God and come to faith in Christ. A survey done by Dudley Woodbury reported that roughly 25% of Muslims who convert to Christianity say that they did so because a vision or dream they had of Christ. These experiences often come from people all over the world with different backgrounds. Certainly seems like multiple discoverability to me. Abraham also says that we should expect to see religions growing towards more unity, and that we don't see that with religion. First off, the Judeo-Christian view is that after the Tower of Babel incident, most of humanity was disinherited and cut off from God. These disinherited people began to worship creation and other lesser spirits instead of the one high God. If this is true, we might expect to see similarity in mankind's beliefs at the beginning and then growing divergence as time passes from their separation. This is what we see anthropologically. The religious beliefs of the most primitive tribes tend to be monotheistic and have views about God that in many ways are comparable to Abrahamic faiths. Even many of these primitive tribes that are polytheistic, they still have a conception that there is a high God that they are cut off from. Abraham also fails to account for the fact that there is a volitional aspect to beliefs. Even if there is a set, clear-cut truth, people may still reject that truth because they don't like it. This was very much the case in 2020 regarding masks and vaccines. I'm out of time, so I will end here by saying pretty much every premise of Abraham's argument is wrong and just asserted without any type of justification.